May the 4th be with you. So today I'm going to be talking about Clone Wars Season 7, the season finale, Episode 12, series finale, I should say. And what did I think about it? I loved it. I'm sorry. I loved how it wrapped up Ahsoka's story, Rex's story, and just the clones story, because that's ultimately what it's about. It's about, Ahsoka and these clones and, wrapping up their journey. And in many ways, it also wraps Anakin's journey in it as well, with Darth Vader being at that very end in a perfect finale, that perfect final shot. And it's like, I don't think this episode stands on its own, but that just goes to show you, as a film, this is like a really epic finale, an epic, final act, And I think, like, obviously this episode would have been a lot, better if you didn't know what happens in Rebels and that Rex and Ahsoka are in it and that they survive, but it doesn't change the fact that I love, the suspense that it still brings, and the idea, like, they have to fight clones and the struggle of them doing it, and, like, I still love that Ahsoka has that heart, and it really got to me when Rex shed that tear, and it was just everything. It was everything like I wanted to kind of wrap up their story and wrap up the Clone Wars story in its best ways, and that is just stunning to me how amazing this arc has just been, because now I can finally look at this arc as a film, and as a film it is magnificent how every episode it escalates the situation from just being okay, it's just, bad situation, to getting worse and worse, and to a point where they realize we're gonna have to leave the past behind. And I love, seeing it from Ahsoka's point of view, who just thinks like this is just another mission. You know what I mean? In the sense that everything will go back to normal. And she keeps telling herself that every episode, to the point where she even struggles in this episode till she realizes she genuinely has to leave the past behind. You know what I mean? In the sense that the war's over. We lost. Because again, like I've talked about this before, I think it's so interesting, because the Clone Wars has always been a unique war where nobody really ever wins or loses. It just becomes a whole new war. And that's unique to say. It goes from both factions end in a way where it's like it suddenly becomes a whole new war. And so you see that progress through the arc, from it going to just a siege of Mandalore to realizing this is the end of the Clone Wars. And seeing all these clones die, and seeing Darth Maul escape, it gives you chills, because you knew this was going to happen. But the way they were able to meticulate it and put it on screen, it was so amazing. And I say this every episode, it looks stunning. And I love that Ahsoka struggles from, being selfish, for doing the right thing, but also struggles from doing the wise thing. Because sometimes, being wise when it comes to surviving is not always require you to do the right thing. And I think it is also packs an emotional punch when they just have to, again, fight clones. Like, you saw that a little bit in the past episode, but this you really see it, because you really see in the sense that comes down to survival, in the sense that if they don't take down these clones in whatever form, whether it be by death or by any of these unique ways you see in the episode, if they do not take down these clones in any form, they're going to die. And it's that sense of realization that these clones we fought alongside for many, many years now. Rex is brothers to these clones, and Ahsoka is good friends to these clones. And the realization that they're the only people. These clones are going to be the only things keeping them from living. In the sense that this idea of victory and death is such a big theme in this episode, where it's like, yes, Ahsoka and Rex survive, but at what cost? At the cost of Jesse's life. At the cost of all these innocent clones who, because, Rex and Ahsoka cracked the code, they know that it's not their faults. They know it's not their faults for trying to kill them. You know, she's witnessed that it's a chip in their brain that calls these orders. It's not them. This is not Jesse doing this act. This is not these clones doing this act. It all strings back to, the chip into Fives and then the Kamino and all that stuff. So they just realize that it's not their fault. And so it's like the reason why they don't feel that there's an even heavier lift during Order 66 when you truly know what's going on, because that's not the case for any of these other battles. Like, do you think Obi-Wan knew what's going on when all his men are shooting on them? Ahsoka and Rex figured out, and that's why it's even heavy when you realize that they are not in charge of what they're doing, and yet they're still gonna do it. And that there is no I think what I also enjoy is the ticking time bomb sense of, you could be just like, just remove all these clones' chips. They don't have time because the ship is crashing. It is that sense of, pick or choose. Choose your survival. Pick saving these clones. And so it's victory and death of Rex and Ahsoka survived, but Jesse and all these innocent, because they are innocent. These clones are innocent. They didn't put this chip in. They didn't say, hey, I want to have a chip to kill these Jedis by birth. No, they had no idea this was happening until it happened. And so the realization, victory and death that's literally the best way to describe it. It's victory in the sense you didn't die. You survived. Rex and Ahsoka survived Order 66. That's a huge achievement. But death in the sense that you lost a part of yourself. When you see all these clones you fought amongst, good soldiers who just want to do their duty, died. And realizing we don't know anything else but what happened in our battle. And I think especially for Ahsoka and Rex, again, Ahsoka and Rex are so deep into this, especially because they know what Darth Maul said. Because Darth Maul has said in this entirety of this arc all about this idea of Order 66. And for him to be right, for Darth Maul to be right on that, then that opens the possibility for Darth Maul to be right about Anakin. And so that's one of the biggest things on their mind, because both were good friends to these clones, and both were these good friends to Anakin, and so they don't know. And that ending, let's talk about that ending. That ending was stunning, because I'll tell you something. Seeing Darth Vader was so epic, and that animation quality was also epic. And something tells me I want another I want so badly to see a sequel series to Rebels. To see, I don't know, just see more Darth Vader. I'll be honest, with this animation quality, it's stunning. And I think changing Ahsoka's blue lightsabers from green to blue on the Ahsoka novel was a really good choice in hindsight, because when you see Darth Vader pull out, number one, Ahsoka's lightsabers, but number two, seeing them blue gives that sense of clarity to Vader that it's actually Ahsoka's blade, and to realize that final piece of Vader, or final piece that reflects Anakin, is Ahsoka's blade or lightsaber, because that making it blue was Anakin's decision. But so Ahsoka leaving her lightsabers behind is the reflection she's leaving Anakin behind. You know what I mean? Because it's I mean, like those it's like her lightsabers were basically Anakin's gift to her, of to always remember, to leave a piece of Anakin always to you, to always to Ahsoka. So if she always has the lightsaber, she'll always have a part of Anakin. So leaving it behind is just a big, huge symbol. She's leaving Anakin behind, as well as everything else, because leaving her lightsabers behind also leaves the final part of her that still is somewhat of a Jedi, besides obviously the Force. So it's all interesting, and it's all exciting, and all these hidden messages. It's great. Like, yes, it's my, probably say, the weakest film, or weakest episode of the Siege of Mandalore, but that doesn't discredit this episode at all. Because while it's not the top 10 in the episode, what I love how it contributes to the show, and how it contributes to this arc, and these characters, because I always say, this show is so much character based, and it's fantastic, and I love this episode. And this show will be missed. But it wasn't, I'll be honest, it wasn't emotional to see the show end, because I'm just so happy. Not that it's over, of course, but happy that we got that satisfying conclusion. Because when I saw this show get canceled all those years ago, obviously I was so sad. And so, because I love this show. But seeing it come back was not a sense of, oh, I'm so sad to see it over. No, I already saw it over. It's like let's say you have a chance. Let's say you, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a good example. Let's say, okay, let's literally pitch the Clone Wars case. Let's say a show ends or gets canceled. You're so sad. The show gets canceled. Then many years later, it says, "Oh, we're coming back for one final season." The fact that you're gonna I'm in that camp where I'll be like, I'm not sad when it's over because I'm so happy we got a chance for it to be over in a satisfying way. And this is honestly one of the greatest things I've ever seen. Star Wars. And just storytelling in general. It blows my mind how great this is. Stay tuned for videos coming at you.